Welcome back to the Daily Close, and we have a full house today. Gojo, good to have you back. Good to have you back.
Good to be back. Thank you.
BASŞD Buddha, always good to have you here. Man, the myth, the legend, liking the mustache, man, liking the mustache. Crypto-pleb, how are we doing, boys?
Mustache only gets worse. It only get worse.
Okay, let's jump into this quick because we are limited by a little bit of time. So we're going to be talking about NFT projects today, and if you guys have been keeping up with the space, NFT projects, sorry, can't speak today, have been popping off very recently. There has been a little bit of a lull in the market, but as we always say, buy the dip, and that applies to NFTs as well. So we want to bring you some exciting NFT projects that we think have big potential. Before we get into it, please remember that this is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. So do your own research into all of these projects that we mentioned. And yeah, just be careful. Give us a like, subscribe, comment if you like the content that we're creating. We're trying to pump out at least 2 videos a day. Some on projects like NFTs, some more on technical analysis. So if you could just smash that like button, it takes literally a second. That would be much appreciated. And if you want to keep up to date with all the alpha that we release, hit that bell notification as well, so that you kept up to date with everything that goes on in the crypto space. So without further ado, let's get into it. The project that I'm going to be covering today is the MOONCATS. You might have heard about the MOONCATS. Let me share my screen. I hope this is the right one.
It be.
Okay, this is the right one. So MOONCATS. Let me start off with this tab actually. So the MOONCATS are quite an old project actually, one of the oldest projects on the Ethereum space, and I think that has historical value. A lot of big NFT collectors like to collect stuff that have historical value and that are old. And when I mean old, I mean 2017. Anything before 2017 is actually classified as OG. So MOONCATS came out in 2017. It wasn't until 2021, I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago, that everyone started to jump on it and start to collect MOONCATS. So I think this has a lot of potential. Right now, if we're looking at the price of MOONCATS, we looked at some more expensive projects in our last NFT projects video, but MOONCATS actually, the floor price is around 1 ETH, just under 1 ETH, 0.95 ETH. So it is more affordable for those guys who can't maybe afford like a Bored Ape or a COOLCAT or a Punk. These actually came out, I think, a few months after Punks. So they're very, very, I guess they hold a lot of value on the Ethereum blockchain. So I think these are massively undervalued. Although there are 18.3K items compared to the normal 10K profile pictures, you can say that MOONCATS are a profile picture project as well, but it also has a lot more value within the metaverse, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something that's not really pumped to the moon, well, these cats live on the moon, but if you're looking for something that hasn't pumped hard yet, I'll definitely do some research into MOONCATS because I think these will start taking off, especially when more and more people come in, and not everyone can afford 10 ETH, 20 ETH, 30 ETH floor projects. The MOONCATS are very, very affordable at just under 1 ETH. But I don't think they will last underneath for too much longer. So if you are keen on this, do your own research as soon as possible. And maybe look to buy in. But let's jump into the website. So the website itself isn't that great. I don't particularly like this. There's just a lot of text telling you about what MOONCATS are, when they were founded and that sort of thing. There's a lot of text on here. There's not much imagery, but essentially people went onto this tab here, find cats, and then they scanned for cats, and then they claimed the cats, which were actually free. So these were actually free to claim, plus a little bit of gas fee, which at the time I think was, about $20 or something like that. So some people were able to claim like 20, some people were able to claim, 1 or 2. I was lucky enough, actually, no, I wasn't lucky enough. I didn't claim any. I had to buy in the secondary market. I just missed out, I think, by a couple of hours. But nevertheless, you know, I think they are a good investment in terms of NFTs. So you can buy MOONCATS either via the secondary market on OpenSea, like I just showed here, which I think everyone is familiar with. If not, you just have to set up your own wallet, or you can actually adopt one through the actual site here. So you can actually filter by different things named. Genesis cats are the black and white cat. So if you see just a pure white or pure black cat, they're actually very rare. I remember them being sold for about 100 ETH. I think that's come down a little bit for now. You know, maybe like 50, 60. I think they were also auctioned at, well, they are currently being auctioned at Sotheby's. So, you know, you can tell that they have a lot of historical value when you know, NFT projects start being auctioned at big art houses like Sotheby's and Christie's, etc. What's cool about the MOONCATS, though, as I mentioned before, is that they have actually integrated with the sandbox. Now, some of you may remember that I talked about the sandbox a while back. It was on one of the videos that we covered for up and coming projects. The sandbox is essentially a metaverse. It's not the only one. We have things like Decentraland, and we've got things like crypto voxels and a whole host of other NFT projects up and running. But the ones that have been most established and the ones that have the biggest user base and growth have been those like the sandbox and the others that I mentioned. So these have actually been integrated with the sandbox. And so you'll soon be able to use them in the metaverse. You'll be able to display them. You might be able to do other things with them. Even, you know, go around the metaverse as a metacat. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. And you can actually buy accessories for your MOONCATS as well. I know a lot of profile picture projects are just standalone projects. You might get an airdrop here and there. But with the MOONCATS, you can actually buy accessories for your MOONCAT. So, and they're relatively cheap. You know, here you can claim for 0. Actually, you can get this one for free. You just have to pay the gas. Now, gas can be quite expensive depending on, you know, how congested the network is. But yeah, you can essentially just buy some of these accessories for very, very cheap. Now, some of them are exclusive. Some of them are free to claim for everyone. But I remember this one, for example, this cake with a 4 candle in here was an exclusive accessory that you could only claim for a certain amount of time for their 4-year anniversary. But you can have a look on this site. I'll leave the link in the description below. But you can actually get a lot of accessories for your MOONCATS, which is cool. You can display it in the metaverse once that comes to fruition. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that I do want to highlight again is the historical value of MOONCATS. If we think about things like autoglyphs, punks, MOONCATS are definitely up there with them in terms of, you know, being the first NFT projects to be on the Ethereum blockchain. So these having not pumped as hard as those, I mean, the autoglyph floor prices, I haven't checked in a while, it's probably like 300, 400 ETH now. Punks again is around about 100 ETH, but MOONCATS is sitting at 1 ETH. So I see a lot of opportunity with this, and that's why I wanted to bring this project to your attention. If you haven't heard of it before, definitely go and check it out. I think that, you know, I don't want to give any absurd sort of predictions about the floor price, but I do think it's a great time to actually start looking at projects that do provide value, do provide utility, NFT projects. And I think MOONCATS is definitely one of them. So go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below. My project was nice and quick today, but I do think this has massive potential, especially when there's only 18,000 and we have about 7 billion people in the world. You know, not everyone's going to be able to get their hands on this. So go check them out.
What's up? That's what's up. Well, let me jump into mine real quick then too. And actually, knxqtr already talked briefly about the project I'm going to be covering, but this is going to be COOLCATS, just keeping the same line of the cats. But also, as knxqtr also said, I mean, this is not cheap. So this is more for the high net worth individuals out there who are interested in, you know, some big projects with big money. But this also has some good utility to it as well. So let me get into COOLCATS. But yeah, so this is the website here for COOLCATS. They now July 1st, 2021 came out with the blue cats here, and they just really just exploded right off. So I mean, with the COOLCATS, as you can see here, I mean, the first generation, they start off, with 10,000 randomly assembled cats from over 300,000 different options, different features that are just automatically, programmatically combined and created, and that you can buy them. And they start off at 0.06 ETH at the very beginning, but this project has been very good with the community, listens, and definitely takes in everyone's input to the fact that they actually, when the community suggested that this should be cheaper so more people can get into it, they're able to move the original price of these down to 0.02 ETH, which just speaks to the volume of how much they do listen to their community. But just simply enough, you have these cute little cats, different features that you can assign with them, and based on the rarity of features that are added to these cats, they are assigned from level 3 to level 10 of rareability, or rareability. I don't know if that's actually a word, I just made it up, but how rare it is can be assigned by the numbers that's associated with these little cats. And there's 10,000 in all. 150 of these are actually at the highest level, how exotic they are. And the more exotic or more rare that your cats are, the more returns and the more benefits you'll get off of it. But yeah, actually, I just noticed before. I mean, it used to be 0.06, now it's 0.02. These cute little projects, they've been really kicking off. And actually, you can just take a look on CoinGecko here. Yes, so the floor price is at 7.89. This is not something you just buy on the fly. This is a proper investment, and with any kind of investment, do your own research. But there's a lot of benefits to putting the money together to invest in such a project. Not only because of the crazy increase that we've been seeing over the past number of weeks here, even from 6.79 from August, we're coming up to our current price around 7.89. I mean, that's a good percentage increase. I think the value of this is going to continue moving up favorably. So holding this is a big benefit, obviously. But if you want to buy COOLCATS, you'll just find these bad boys here on OpenSea, and this is the easiest way to buy and sell these guys. But yeah, I mean, even on buy now, lowest price, yeah, it's again, I'll say it and I'll say it again, it is not something you buy on the fly. But
look at all those paper hands.
All these, oh yeah, look at these guys.
Bought for 8.7, selling for 7.89. Bought for 13, selling for 7.9. Jesus.
Ooh. Boy, oh boy, look at that. It's people, they make money here, man. This is where big money moves here. But yeah, I mean, with these here, what's cool about the project, the community. So every sale for these COOLCATS that occur, 20% goes to community. That's put forward for contests, raffles, and giveaways. There are creating some new adaptations with this, where you can get milk will be coming out soon. You can also get eggs as well. That they hatch into their own little monsters. They can also kind of gamify the space in the sense that you can, with these milk tokens, you can buy certain goods, add it to the eggs that you get, and when they hatch, they either become fire, wind, water, earth, kind of little guys that you can mess with. And these all are also tradable NFTs as well. So the better the cat, the better goods you'll be able to have access to. I do want to say, actually, if you go to their Twitter page as well, they have their full roadmap here, which is also what I really like. It's just easy to see what they're planning to do for the future. And one point, a few points are actually quite interesting here. Just want to see here. Yeah, so milk's coming up probably a little bit after October, maybe into November time. They are looking into being able to breed your cats as well, which it's also going to add just more earning opportunity, more tradable NFTs you can have in the future. But I mean, yeah, they have it pretty well planned out every step of the way. This is the little monsters I'm referring to here. These little guys, and these are the the type of types that you can get. This is obviously water. This is fire. Yeah, I mean, it makes the space even more fun and get more engagement from the community overall. This is how it works. Yeah, milk and gold tokens active, claim milk. So when you own a cat, you earn milk, and then when you claim it, then you can spend milk on items in the shop and put it forward to your egg, and that's how you make your little guy here. And yeah, when you start breeding these guys, you just get more. I guess the image or the message I'm trying to send here is that this actually is long-term a good option if you have the money and assets to get into this space, because it can continue to grow and continue to reward you for participating in the space. This is a long-term investment that you can make quite a lot of gains out of, but obviously do your own research. Don't just there's a lot of money, so you shouldn't just yeet everything into it. But last but not least, what I'll say is I think the love for this space is going to continue. Mike Tyson has his blue cat here on his picture. So obviously we all know Mike Tyson. Now we know COOLCATS here as well. This is on the face of his Twitter, so he's into it. Other people are big into it as well too. So this is not a small thing. Pricing can continue to go up. More rewards for participating in the space. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you have the money. So that's my very quick short bit on COOLCATS. Over to you, BASŞD Buddha.
Sorry, just going to jump in real quick. I mean, COOLCATS are a great project. I think they're considered as, the up-and-coming, one of the up-and-coming blue chip. I think they have sort of like gained that blue chip standard right now. I remember when they were like below 1 ETH. I actually think that the graph that you showed, Crypto-pleb, did it a little bit of injustice, because the floor of the COOLCATS actually went up to about 14, 15 ETH. So double the price of where they're at now. As I said, at the beginning, there has been a little bit of a lull in the market, but if you've been in the space long enough, you kind of know to buy the dip, especially in projects that you have conviction in. And I think COOLCATS are going to go a long, long way. So very excited about what that project's going to bring, especially because we're so early on the roadmap as well that you just showed.
No doubt, no doubt.
All right, I guess I'll go next. So let me just share my screen. Can you guys see this? I see a lot of nodding. Great. All right. So my the NFT project that I actually want to cover is more of trying to understand the artist himself and the potential of their project. It is quite speculative, meaning it's not out in the market yet. There's no specific date in which we can expect it to come out. In fact, there's actually not a lot of information on what it actually is. But I just want to go over a few factors, or a few sort of I guess things around it that we can sort of speculate how much potential it has. And so I'm showing my screen right now. It's MGMX. This is the artist. His real name is Fernando, but his artist name, he goes by the name of MGMX. I don't know how to actually pronounce that, so I'm not gonna try to butcher that. But as it says here, he's a generative artist, which is highly valued in this space right now. And I think will continue to be, right? So you have a lot of artists like Talia Hobbs, or who made Fidenzas, Hideki Tsukamoto, who with Singularity, and all these other artists, NFT artists, who have really based their art on 3D coding. Not 3D coding, but coding itself, right? People code in Java, but also produce art based on Java, JavaScript, and all that. So generative arts is really highly valued in this space, and I think MGMX or Fernando is taking a sort of a unique approach to this, where he's you can just kind of tell from the actual art that I'm showing right here. He tweeted on October 12th that something's coming in the works. I mean, I don't think right now we've had anything that creates sort of an art block type of generative art, but as sort of a profile pic. As a profile pic, we get all these sort of 10K type NFT projects, and a reason why I want to cover this one now and this one as opposed to other 10K projects is because I think it's quite unique. So yeah, one other aspect why I want to cover this is because I want to make sure that you guys and girls, our audience, get a head start on, I think, upcoming projects that you can get into early and make the gains, because we want to get in there before it gets saturated and congested, and before the price gets to like, you know, something like 8 ETH for like a COOLCAT, right? So that's not, we want to get in there early so we can make life-changing gains. And so yeah, I mean, MGMX Fernando has been basically working on this project for days and weeks. Another aspect of him is, you know, he's got a lot of NFTs already on super rare, which is good. I'll show you in a second. But again, he's also calls himself a mad scientist at RTFKT Studios, which is, I don't know if you guys heard of them before, but
Artifact.
I'm sorry?
It's pronounced Artifact.
That's right. That's right. Basic collectibles and next generation sneakers for the metaverse. So he's doing some big work there, like other big name artists like Ferocious. So, you know, I think he's up and coming, someone to really look out for. And I'm just going to show you his super rare page where he has a number of items here. NFTs. If you look at, I think this one was purchased by Sammy, another NFT artist. No, it isn't. Someone else. Actually, let me go back one. So generally his work goes for about 1 to 2 ETH. So you have bids here for about 1.3, 1.2. I saw one that was actually sold for about 2 ETH. And so this is sort of his normal price range. So you can imagine, you know, it looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Because it's like a bit sci-fi, robots.
Very cool.
This person, yeah. He calls it sort of his GNSS series, which is like, how would you describe it? Probably a better description here. He says GNSS series is something that this explores a distant future where humankind fails to save Earth from extinction. So you have all these sort of characters in there. But going back to his art, so this one was purchased for about 1.5 ETH, pretty sizable amount, right? So that's just for one NFT. Now, if he has something like a profile pic type of thing, I think he made about like 9,000 already. And he's making so many variations. So, I mean, if you could just imagine, that's a lot of work. But yeah, he's made around 9,000 already. So this is something to look out for. And what else? You can get a sneak peek of what the actual PFPs will look like on his Instagram page. He calls himself a procedural artist as well. I'm not too familiar with this, but I think it has to do with a lot of 3D coding behind it, because this isn't just it isn't just a sort of a 2D type of JPEG, right? I mean, it's kind of a 3D design, and it's quite complex. So this artist actually had an interview with Super Rare, and he goes on about how he's sort of designed everything. But again, when I say sort of 3D coding, this is what it actually looks like. I think it's around here. Like, this is the kind of level of work that's required to produce each and every one of these projects, NFTs. Is that it? No, here it is. Sorry. So, I mean, this is, and he goes on to this interview. We'll put a link in the description below of this interview, because I think it's quite cool. He goes on talking about how he takes a lot of different pieces from nature and puts them all together like fragments. And this is how he designs his NFTs. I think it's quite unique. It gives a very interesting approach, but I think it also plays quite well with what's going on in generative art. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to highlight in terms of this project. Again, I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know too much detail, but I'm going to keep my eyes on this. And again, I think he's already got 29,000 followers. He's also collaborating with Artifact Studios, right? So up and coming artists, I think you guys you guys should keep an eye out on this, and definitely get in early if you can. So that's it for me. Thank you.
They look super cool. I
The
definitely want to try and
Instagram
get one of
page, I
those.
think, is super cool. Super cool. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I'm personally just a fan of the kind of art style that it has. Very sci-fi. Cool. Let me close off today's one with a little bit that a project that has maybe slightly different flavor to what we've talked about so far. But today I wanted to actually talk about Supdrive. For those of you who've never heard about Supdrive, to put it simply, Supdrive is an on-chain fantasy game console, and it's delivered by a person called Dom Hoffman. For those of you who know projects like Loot, like Noun, like Blitmap, and you didn't manage to get in, this is potentially your chance to get in. And when we looked at the NFTs that we saw earlier, I think the one way that this Supdrive project differentiates itself is the fact that it goes along the lines of innovative thinking that we saw in projects like Loot and like Nouns, where initially you see a wall of text, a wall of words on Loot, and people started wondering why were prices going up. It kind of has that same kind of vibe to it. And maybe just to explain in the words of the creator himself of what this is, essentially what Supdrive is they're NFTs, but they're games. So what we've seen so far is we've seen NFTs that are parts of games, whether they're the characters that are in the games, the accessories, the items that you get, but we've never actually seen the games being NFTs themselves. And this is really the goal that Dom Hoffman set out to create, or the product that he set out to create. The reason why I think this is really interesting as well is when we look at projects like Art Blocks, where basically Art Blocks takes artists or invites artists to create a curated piece or curated collection of art, which is then released to their audience, to their fans. In the same way, in this project, in the beginning, at least, Dom has mentioned that he will be creating the first couple of games. I think the first game that he's planning to create as part of this project is called Genesis. I could be wrong here, but oh no, it's called Origin. It's called Origin. But in the future, his goal is to get other people, other developers on this project to create their own games, which are all going to be different editions, all unique to each other, and be able to share them with, again, their audience in the same way that Art Blocks did. Why is this really interesting? Because in my mind, when I think about NFT projects that we should be looking at or considering, we need to look at the team. And the first thing that we want, the first person we want to look at is Dom himself, who, as we know, he's involved or has been involved in a bunch of projects that have been successful. If we just look at Loot, it has a floor price of 3.9 right now, gone down slightly in the last few months, but Blitmap, for example, at 12.5 floor price, he knows what he's doing. And I think he carries with him that innovative gene that has fascinated a lot of people in the NFT space, really pushing the boundaries of what NFTs can do. The other thing is, if we look at the Discord, so he has on the Supdrive Twitter page, there's about 19.6K followers. On Discord, he has just over 12K. And if we're looking at the engagement, there are a lot of people here who are super excited about this coming out. The reason is really because of the track record that Dom has. So in the way that we see other projects and their own Discords and Twitters as being indicators of success, I think right now, considering the kind of innovation that we'll be seeing here, 19.6K and 12K followers on Discord is still very low in terms of the number of people who are engaged. The other thing I should maybe say, and maybe when this information comes out, the project will gain a little bit more traction, a little bit more attention, is the fact that there hasn't been a final release date. Dom has actually mentioned a couple of times that October is probably the date that he'd be going for. But in recent posts, he's mentioned that this is tentative and it's still not confirmed. So once we get that, I think people will have more confidence in this. The other thing is, I also want to say before ending my piece is, when it comes to a project like Supdrive, where it's very unique, the use case and utility is there, but it's so different to what we've seen before. It's sometimes, essentially it's the first of its kind. We really don't know where it's going to go, but we have diehard fans in the NFT space who believe in the potential of NFTs and its use cases. The thing that Dom really wants to challenge here, from what I see, is he really wants to push and see the boundaries of payment options, for example, for games. We talked about items on games being owned by the developers and the people who create it. It's not owned by the people who purchase it. He's also looking at monetization schemes, for example, when it comes to subscription models for games. He's also thinking about how to help developers who want to get a bigger piece of the pie when it comes to their own creations. This will essentially become that platform. We should think of it as more of a base as opposed to the actual product itself. So I think what I would say here is, if you're interested in the project, give the Twitter page and the Discord a follow. Right now, what they're doing is they're splitting people into teams. So there are red, blue, and green teams that you can join in the Discord. Depending on which team you join, you have different certain attributes that you would be able to access, different versions of the game that you'd be able to access once this project goes live. So for now, I will end it there. I think this has been a really NFT heavy session for us, but what we can see here is the variety in the projects that we're seeing. The more and more we talk about it, it's really expanding and it's really quite fascinating. The technology and the use cases, I don't know, I believe that the potential is, we're really just scratching the surface. But for now, keep an eye out for COOLCATS, MOONCATS, and MGXS. And of course, for Supdrive, I know for sure that I am going to be here at launch. I'm definitely minting one of these. But for now, that's it from us. Thank you very much. If you like what we've shared with you today, please like, comment, and subscribe. We also love hearing from you guys on what you want to hear from us. So drop a comment down below and let us know what you want us to talk about. But otherwise, we'll see you in a couple of days, perhaps with a technical analysis video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. May the pump be with you.
I'll be with you, boys.